My name is Kyle, like you said. I'm over IT for Dayspring. Actually, here's a little bit about me. I'm working on my master's degree. I've got a couple other bachelor's degrees. I've got a couple associate's degrees. I've got some certifications I haven't told anybody about. I love IT, technology. It's one of my passions. Ever since I was young, and I got into it. I know a little bit about everything, but I'm a master of none. Jack of all trades, master of none, as you've heard the saying go. I'm married. I've got a bunch of kids. People freak out when I say I have 6 kids. Woo! So what we're going to talk about today with digital citizenship, I have to apply in my own life because of my kids. And my oldest is 15, going on 27. He's going to be 16 in a few months. My youngest is we'll say she's almost 2, because I know how old she is. So I've got a wide cornucopia of ages of kids. I've worked for Dayspring for over 3 years now. So again, we're going to talk about digital citizenship and kind of what that entails and what that means and what it is and what we can do and stuff. And we'll get into it here. So firstly, digital citizenship, and I'm going to mispronounce citizenship because that's hard for me to say for some reason, is the responsible use of technology by anyone who uses computers, the internet, or any digital device to engage with society at any level. In this day and age, as you know, technology is everywhere. You pay your bills, you watch your TV now through it, you can run companies from your cell phone. Not even a computer, a cell phone. There's people that run companies through them and don't even really go to the computer side. It's everywhere. When you pay, it's technology. Technology, social media. Everybody knows, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and all of those. So we're going to kind of get into that. And I want to talk about a few points with digital citizenship because today, one of the things I've been looking at and kind of studying from some of the articles going around is that, and we'll get into this in a little bit, is consequences. Okay, and that's kind of the thing, is consequences. What comes out of our actions is consequences, whether good or bad. I am also a backup SSG for Dayspring. I've trained with the Pasco County Sheriff, so I've actually had talks with the Sheriff's Department too about some things on the back end when it comes to their cyber division. And it gets real serious real fast. Some of the stuff I'm going to talk about is not light, but it's reality in this day and age that we need to be aware of. So some things with digital citizenship is I want to go over are 4 things here: empathy, the use of technology, sharing information, and rights, privacy, and ethics, and kind of what that entails with digital citizenship. So like I said, it's about being responsible with our technology and teaching our kids to be responsible, and even us ourselves being responsible with technology. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is empathy. Understanding that the feelings of someone else. And knowing that there's people behind the other end. Not all the times, because we can get into anonymity and people that are like, you're catfishing or faking people out or pretending to be someone else. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just in general. There's people on the other end. When you're making fun of someone, when people are saying something, when kids are being mean online and social media. It's out there, it's rampant. And teaching the kids to know that there's someone else out there behind them. There's another human being with feelings and with, all of these things, their own issues going on that, they can either hinder or help. And part of that, and that falls into this is teaching them, that they're a real person. Knowing if someone's being bullied, paying attention to some of those signs. It's very tough in this day and age to know, without being part of our children's and people's lives, of where this bullying is real or not, and the cyberbullying aspect of it. It's real, it's legit, it's a thing, and it's a whole thing. But part of that is seeing if someone's being bullied. For the students, it's again, this kind of entails knowing that there's a real person with the bullying part, and that feelings really do play a part of this, whether on our end or their end, and that sometimes we have to teach them to take a break. What we say has consequences online. In a minute, I'm going to show you a couple real stories from the FBI and around other sheriff's departments around the country. So taking a break is something that we need to do. Reporting harassment when seeing it online. That's all falls under understanding the feelings of someone else and things we can do with empathy. Because a lot of times we get stuck in front of a computer screen or a TV screen and we forget there's people on the back end. We forget about there's a human being there. Part of digital citizenship is the use of technology, and in ensuring that it's used positively. We can use technology for good and bad, okay? People don't realize when it comes to social media, and I'll always harp on TikTok and Snapchat. If you have it, delete it, just please, from a technology standpoint and from a security and safety and privacy standpoint. Delete it, have your kids delete it, don't use it, please. But ensuring that it's used positively, connecting with friends. It's a great way to connect. I connect with my extended family up in Michigan and Tennessee. I don't get to see my mom or my cousins and stuff and my grandparents. They're all in other states. Use it positively for connecting with them and talking to them. It's great. Share pictures with them and all this stuff. They get to talk. My daughter, my little 2-year-old, gets to talk to her grandma up in Tennessee on FaceTime at night. She'll come up to me and say, "Mama, Mama, Mama." It's great. It works. It's fantastic. You can also use it to be active in your community. I mean, we post stuff on here for things like this to come out. We use Parent Square and what other else you use, Facebook and all that. We have these meetups like this where we can talk. We record it, put it out there so people can, hear the different things that we have to say. It's great for the community. And then one other thing, to teach the kids and stuff is, be a specific purpose and being mindful of what you're doing. A lot of times you just get in this hole, and you'll see this a lot. Tell me if this looks familiar. Yeah. Right? You get in this mindless loop of scrolling, and they call it doom scrolling. If you ever heard that term, that's doom. You just go, and you get down these weird rabbit holes, and the algorithms on the apps in the back end just take you to these weird places, and all of a sudden you're just like looking up rabbits, with their underground empire or something. It's insane what you can get to. So, being mindful of what you're doing, again, what you're doing as a person, what your kids are doing, or the people you have influence over. Like my 15-year-old, he's a handful. If anybody had teenagers, you all know. I'm learning. I've got 2 teenagers now. My 2 olders are 14 and 15, going on 15 and 16. And there's times at dinner, this is all you see. He's like eating his food, like this, leaning over in the corner, just like this. And we're like, "Jason, what are you doing?" He's over there playing a game. I'm like, "Put the phone away. We're eating dinner. Get out of the corner and, stop looking at nothing over there." And so being mindful of what they're doing, what you're doing. I on the iPhone, if you have the iPhone, I'm not sure if Android does it because I don't use Android, I'm sorry. They have a thing in there where it's like a screen time. It tells you like how long you've been on and like what you've spent all your time doing. It's really, really depressing sometimes because it's like, I've spent 75% of my day on Facebook. And you're like, oh, that's rough. So again, being mindful. And this one here, sharing information.
Sure, I understand.
Sorry, Siri was talking on my watch. Technology. Sharing information. This is something that we all can, got to be super mindful of, that people don't realize is, I don't want to get political. Sharing misinformation, I apologize, but that's all I'm going to say about political and sharing misinformation. Sometimes it's hard to tell what the truth is. Sometimes it's hard to know what's right and what's wrong. You have to do your research. So check your sources before sharing. There's many times, I'm not going to go politics. Don't go politics, Kyle. Okay. There's a lot of times when people share things, they don't know the truth behind it. You'll see misinformation. I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to skip that. But check your sources. I can go down a weird rabbit hole. And when you're sharing information, make sure you're teaching your kids and who you're responsible for and yourself about sharing information that's useful. Make sure what you're sharing is going to be productive. Again, being a good digital citizen, not sharing the misinformation, doing something that is, right for them and beneficial. Ensure you're not adding to the problem. Another thing when it comes to sharing, this is a little side tangent on the security side. Do you ever see those Facebook posts where it's like, share your first dog that died, or something like that? What's their name and what breed? That's actually a phishing attempt to try to hack and get into your security questions for like your banking account and stuff like that. So please, please, please don't ever answer those questions. Oh, what's your father's last name and your mother's maiden name? And it's like all these pretty posts. That's them actually trying to fish and try to get information so they can try to hack your stuff. So please ignore those. I've known people that have fallen for it and bad things happen. Also, make sure it's not going to hurt someone else when you share information. Make sure that is, like I said, good, wholesome, true information. And then, lastly, rights, privacy, and ethics. There is a lot of legalese that is going on when it comes to things that have been shared and things that have been said and things that have been done with the internet, with social media. So a couple things is, one, respect other people's privacy when sharing. If someone comes to you and says something that is in confidence, don't go sharing it online. They still have privacy and rights. I put on here also ethically accessing music and videos and video games. When I was younger and I was in high school, we had a website, Napster. You guys, anybody remember Napster back in the day? And BearShare, LimeWire. I'm dating myself. It's older. I'm not saying, don't judge me, okay? I know what you're going to say. I've had these conversations with everybody at staff. I know exactly what you're going to say. I've downloaded, no joke, gigabytes of music back when I was younger. I had quite a collection of music. I had thousands of albums, thousands. I downloaded them illegally. And then one day I heard a story of this teenager in like Nebraska or something. She got arrested for downloading 5,000 songs and she like went to jail. And I was like, I'm done downloading things illegally. I don't feel like going to jail. And it scared me and I stopped. But even today, there's things like the Pirate Bay and these other things where you can go and hack and get some stuff. So ethically, I know it's easy to do, but it's one of those parts of digital citizenship and what we have to teach the kids. Let's try to do it legally. One thing I don't think it's harped on enough is don't overshare information. If you're going on a vacation and you're going, hey, I'm spending the next 2 weeks in the mountains of Colorado, we're going skiing. Do not post that before you go. There are stories and articles out there of people and thieves going, hey, look, because you leave your Facebook profile open, these people are gone for 2 weeks. No one's watching their house. Let's go rob it. It happens. You post these things. You go, oh, I'm spending 3 weeks in Mexico, or I'm spending a weekend over here, and I'm going to the other side of the state. That's wide open for someone to come to your house and find you. You say, well, they can't find me. People can find you. They can go through and skim your social media and put together 1 + 1 and figure out where you're located. It's a thing. I'm not going to say I've done it once to see if it was true, if I could do it, but I did it one time just to see if I could find out where someone was. Nothing malicious. It was someone I knew. It wasn't illegal. I mean, well, probably should stop talking there. But I did it one time, and I found out where this person was. Again, just to see if I could. And I don't specifically try on a continuous basis to find people like that, but I did it. It's not difficult, okay? When you purchase something, oh, I just got this new 80-inch TV, or I got this new this or this that or this who's he what's it. Prime target on your back for someone to come try to find it and take it from you. So don't overshare information. Don't share that you're going to the hospital. Don't share. Now, if you go on vacation, you come back and you want to post some pictures, okay, that's fine. You're back. You're there. No one knows you've left. It's just one of those things that people don't think of that could cause, some stuff to be stolen. And lastly here, this is the biggest thing that people don't realize. You're responsible for what you share online. You are responsible. Your child is responsible for what you put online. And that is probably the real kicker when it comes to all of digital citizenship, is you are responsible for what you do. And a lot of people just think, oh, it's just words on a screen, no one's there, and blah, blah, blah. But you are responsible for what you put online. And with that, wait a minute. Okay. And so with that, I'm going to share you a couple stories. True stories pulled from the FBI website, pulled from sheriff's departments, pulled from news articles. And basically, like I say here, is why do we want to teach our kids to be good digital citizens, to kind of follow these little step-by-steps here, these little ideas? And this is why right here. From the FBI website, you know what's serious that the FBI has to get involved. 2 young men in Kentucky created a social media account in someone else's name and used it to make threats against a school. Police investigated it, found it was a hoax, but an 18-year-old was sentenced to 21 months in prison, and a 19-year-old was sentenced to 27 months in prison. A young man in Texas used social media and a phone to issue threats against schools in Minnesota. He called in fake hostage situations. He did what they call swatting. If you know what swatting is you call in a fake issue, and then they send in the SWAT team in there, and there's no real threat. He was arrested, pleaded guilty, and sentenced more than 3 years in federal prison. He was 19. 21-year-old South Carolina man was sentenced to 1 year in federal prison after he sent text messages, not even social media, text messages, that there was a bomb in a parking lot at a Veterans Affairs Center in South Carolina. FBI got involved. You say, well, those are 18 and 19-year-olds, a little older. They're adults. Title of this one is Child Arrested Following Social Media Threats Made Against Varsity Lakes Middle School. Law enforcement arrested a 12-year-old boy after a thorough investigation related to a post on Instagram telling the students to stay home on Thursday because someone was going to be bringing a gun. 12-year-old boy, not even a teenager, arrested, going through the system because he made social media threats. I don't know the situation of this little boy. I feel bad because I have my kids, I have an 11-year-old also, because I have 6 kids. I have an 11-year-old. And this boy's life, because of whatever his home situation is, whatever his friend's situation is, whatever that is gone. His life is virtually ruined now. He's going to jail. Their police department said if we receive any types of complaints, we're going to leave no stone unturned, and everything is treated as real. We are going to turn everything over. We are going to look at everything. We're going to scroll all social media, and when charges are applicable, we're going to charge to the fullest extent of the law. More and more law enforcement are taking this more and more serious, and we have to as well. A 14-year-old boy was arrested early Friday morning after reportedly making written threats to kill another child on social media, according to Flagler County. The 14-year-old boy was tracked down via his social media. Deputies spoke with him and his parents. The boy admitted to sending the messages. But he did it out of anger and wasn't serious. He did it out of anger. Again, walk away when you get angry. The Flagler County Sheriff's Office is asking parents to monitor their child's online activity and to familiarize themselves with 23 mobile apps. That when they say 23 mobile apps, it's going to be TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, probably WhatsApp. There's a whole bunch of other ones. He ended up going to a juvenile detention center. 15-year-old Chicago teen was arrested and charged with a felony after he posted on a Twitter account he was going to do something. I'm not going to say that. If George Zimmerman was found not guilty, which he was, the boy's message was reported to the FBI, and he was arrested. 18-year-old high school student in Massachusetts was arrested and jailed after An 18-year-old was arrested and jailed after posting rap lyrics from a song. The lyrics suggested that he wanted to outshine the actions of the Boston Marathon bombings. He posted lyrics from a song and got arrested. Again, you say it's lyrics from a song, we're responsible for what we post. It wasn't good, that's definitely something bad. It wasn't anything that said it was good. Consequences to your actions. Another guy was arrested after he made inappropriate comments regarding a 5-year-old. The British teenager found himself spending 3 months in prison. I'm not going to go into that one because that one's kind of crazy. This one, I almost have to laugh at this one. Paula Asher disregarded a court order to delete an offensive Facebook post. A judge sentenced her to 2 days in jail for contempt of court. The 18-year-old posted on the social media site about her reckless driving after she hit another car carrying 4 passengers. My dumb butt got a DUI and hit a car, LOL, she posted. She later apologized. I didn't think LOL would put me in jail. You're just done at that point, I'm sorry. And the last story here is two friends were met by armed guards after landing in Los Angeles International. This is kind of interesting. Armed guards after landing at Los Angeles International Airport in January of 2012. After this person tweeted another friend asking for some preparation before he was going to go and destroy America. The travel pair had their passports detained and were interrogated by Homeland Security agents for hours. The confusion resulted from the term destroy being a British slang for party. Again, you posted something, you said you're going to destroy America. Apparently it means party in England, in Britain. Brian said that the Homeland Security agents treated me like some kind of terrorist. I mean, look what you said. Your consequences to your actions. After spending the night in separate cells, the pair were put on a plane back home, so they didn't even make it over here. So, I tell you all these stories to, as far when it comes to being a good digital citizen and teaching, is consequences to your actions. These happen on I don't want to say a regular basis, but pretty close to a regular basis. There are stories out there. You can just go on Google and search these stories, and you will find a lot of them. Okay. And so the question is this. Sorry, Siri was talking again. So this is why we do it. It's to help and protect our kids. And we're not going to be able to put this perfect bubble around them, but we can give them the information. We can train them and teach them. Okay. Now. So, I heard Coco Melon. Sorry, it's my kids. I was wondering what that was. That's Coco Melon, right? Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse. My 2-year-old loves it, and my 4-year-old loves it. Okay, so a couple steps at Dayspring, what we're doing to help monitor and regulate and kind of help protect in our own world and doing what we can do for this, because we're only one aspect. The kids, come to school and spend hours here with us, but they spend the majority of the time at home. So we can only help guard part of the day. And so some of the things we do as a school is we use Chromebooks. Almost every kid has a Chromebook. And we use these because, one, they're easy to manage. We can monitor them easily, and there's no downloads. They can't just go download apps and programs and stuff like that. We tell them what they can download when it comes to programs. They can't go just download, whatever apps they want, whatever games they want. We restrict it. So that's one thing. We switched over to a new web filtering service called Aristotle K-12. That is our web filter. Monitors, blocks, restricts websites, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, games. Of course, any other bad websites for them, are being blocked as best we can. Okay, there are websites out there that we can't block because they're hidden, so they try to sneak around. But we actively are, like I said, blocking and monitoring with Aristotle. Every website is logged that they go to on their Chromebook. We can go back and look at the history of it, where they've gone, what they've done. We've had to do that many of times, and we say, hey, look, this is what you've done. I don't do. Sorry, I just hit the mic. I apologize. I just slammed it. I apologize. I feel like I broke it. I'm sorry. I apologize. She's gonna yell at me later. But we monitor every website, everything. We take that. We have alerts. We take that. We give it to the principals for them to go do the disciplinary side of. We instituted keystroke logging. So if they delete something, it's still there. We can see it. That is not illegal. We are allowed to, because it's our devices and they use it. We are allowed to monitor and keystroke log as we will, as we see fit. We also monitor YouTube. So video game YouTube blocked. Movies, songs, we block a lot of that stuff. Inappropriate content gets filtered out. YouTube and Google also has their safe search built into that. So there's a lot of it, I get teachers all the time. Hey, can you unblock this because I need it for a presentation? Sure, I can do that. So Aristotle's been great. Sadly, we've had to use it for different issues that have arisen. I wish we could say we didn't have to, but such is life. Quick story, we're handing out Chromebooks day one. 30 seconds after we hand out to this group of high schoolers, another guy comes up to me and goes, hey, look at this alert that's just popped up. We look at the alert and go, had to go to the principal. Principal, look what they're doing. That was 30 seconds ago. How to be dealt with. Okay. It works at school and at home as long as they're logged into the computer. It is monitored and filtered. We also use Bark. Bark is fantastic. That monitors the Google side of things, so Google Drive, Google Docs, their email, all of that stuff that they try to slip through. That is monitored. It sends an alert if something arises, so we can go take care of it. There's also, it just keeps it running. The severe stuff, it sends this alert. There's also a running log of all these other alerts. We've had stuff where a picture got flagged, and it was George Washington crossing the Delaware because I thought there was a gun in the picture or something, but it was George Washington. So it's a little sensitive, but it works fantastic. But again, that's some of the stuff we do. We also, at the beginning of the school year, I get up there and talk to the kids and be like, listen, I want you to understand. This is what I tell them. I said, we monitor everything. We monitor your email. We monitor where you go on the website. We monitor what you type. We get alerts. We can see it. We see all of it. It is documented in the cloud. You can't really get away with anything. And they don't ever listen. They think they're going to get away with it. I can go pull it up and show you logs, just data of what these kids go to. But it's there. They just don't understand. And again, they are responsible for what they're doing. What else do I have? Okay, so what can you all do? There's a lot of information, a lot of things. What time do I go to? Okay, 5 to 10 minutes. I got so much more. I had to condense everything, so it's hard for me to wrap my brain about what I really want to say. But what can you guys do? I didn't have time to go back and edit this slide. Oops. One is be aware of what's out there. A lot of times people don't want to realize what technology is doing, but you have to be aware as the parent, as the adult, as the guardian of what's out there. There are people out there that are trying to find your information, trying to find your kids' information. I was watching, I have a couple cybersecurity certificates, and I was watching this guy teach, and he was talking about the dark web. You guys ever heard of the dark web? You even know what that is? So a couple of you shaking your head, but some of you haven't. You haven't heard of it? The dark web. Didn't even probably know it existed. Dark web is a thing. It's out there. They call it the dark web because it's hidden. That's what they don't want you to know about it. And the dark web, there's a special way to access it. You can't just go on a computer and access it. You have to set up what they call a VPN. You have to set up a VM, and you have to use a thing called Tor. It's a whole process to get there. And this guy's talking about the dark web. And he goes, "You see this right here?" He goes, "You see this right here?" He goes, "This is credit card information." He goes, "This is a list of 100 credit cards that are guaranteed to work that you can go buy off the dark web." You probably didn't even know that was a thing. He goes, "Over here in this section," he goes, "This over here, you can hire hackers. This hacker only costs $1,500 for this hacker in this program. This one over here costs $2.5 million. What do you think you're going to get in return for hiring someone for $2.5 million? A lot more." Again, stuff you're never going to see in your lifetime. And he even goes, "You see this over here?" He goes, "I'm not even going to click on this." He goes, "But just know, you can go over here, and this is where you can buy people." Buy people. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Yes, that is a thing. Slavery is a thing, and that is still a thing today that people don't hear about, but that is a thing you can do. You can go onto the dark web and buy people. You probably never heard of that, but you have to be aware of some of these things. Like human trafficking and stuff like that. Tampa's actually a really, really bad area. If you didn't know this, I hate to burst your bubble, Tampa's horrible for human trafficking. That's where this stuff comes into, where you can go buy these people. Again, not to scare you, but be aware of it, okay? The second thing is teach yourself. Know that these things are there, and teach yourself, what can I do to help mitigate these things? Because it's not a foolproof. You can't do anything foolproof. You can just do what you can to mitigate and then fix it when it happens, okay? You can be prepared for it. And the last thing is teach your children. A lot of times parents don't want to teach their children. They think, oh, they'll figure it out. You're right, but by then it might be too late. My kids, I set up on my kids on my phone, I'll show you here in a second, or on my kids' phones, if they want to buy an app, I have to approve it. It sends me a message, approve or deny. I set up things on there for screen time where it says, oh, you're done for the day. In fact, I probably should go talk to my 15-year-old about that and reduce it. So there's things like that. Teach your children what could happen. A 12-year-old, a 14-year-old, 18, 19-year-olds going to jail, federal prison for long periods of time. That's going to screw up their life for a long time after that, okay? Because a lot of times, sadly, parents, I don't want to say don't want to be involved, but they don't want to go there. They don't want to talk about that. Snapchat, TikTok, my two ones I always harp on, delete them, get rid of them. There was a thing, if you guys know what Snapchat was when it first came out, they pushed, take a photo, send this photo, it's gone within 24 hours. It's gone, no, it doesn't exist anymore. So people were doing nefarious things with it. figure out that as you will. A couple years later, Snapchat's like, well, we actually didn't really delete everything. We actually have databases full of every picture that was ever taken and ever sent. Okay? Again, figure out that in your brain what that means. So everything that was sent, Snapchat actually didn't delete. They have all those photos somewhere. What they do with them, who knows? Go read the terms of service of Snapchat and TikTok. Again, it's terrible. Please delete it. Please let your kids delete it. Please, I beg of you. And lastly, what you can do is monitor them. It's not illegal to monitor your kids. You are responsible for them. They are responsible for what they say. You can set up things online on your phones to monitor and track and see what's up. Couple things like here on your iPhone. This is your daily limit that I was telling you about over there. That's your screen time. It tells you what apps and how long you've spent. And this is like 3 phones ago for me. This is actually my phone a while ago. You'll see games, messages, camera. Over here, you can set your content restrictions. So if this is like their main social media consumption, you can go in there and set these things. Time limit on your phone. You can say from 9 o'clock to 7 in the morning, phone can only make phone calls and text me. You can set up all these things in there. You can monitor them. You can block websites straight into here. You can go through all of this and set it yourself. Software. You can put software on your stuff at home. I searched these last year, and I went for this one and researched them again, and these same ones came up. OpenDNS is a free version. You can put it in your house. It'll monitor and protect content filtering. It's free. There's a paid version, but there's a free version. You can literally say, these websites, boom, you can't go to. KidLogger is free. I don't know much about KidLogger, but it's web monitoring and keystroke monitoring. Keystroke monitoring is great. So if they hit that delete key, it still saves the information. Bark is the one we use. We use that as an enterprise level. They have like a personal level. There is no free version. It's like $100 a month, but it's fantastic. Bark is awesome because not only does it does filtering and monitoring or managing screen time, it does monitoring of your Gmail and your Google Docs and all of that. Then lastly, you got on here Custodio. Custodio, again, filtering time limits, location tracking. You can find them, call an SMS, text message. SMS is texting. It monitors your text messages and your phone calls. Again, no free version. It does cost money. But these are all things that you can do also to, even if you said, hey kids, this is the issue. We don't want to listen. Well, you can start here. You can start with something that's free. You can start with working on their cell phone and limiting things like that. I think that's oh. I meant to go back. I had another slide, but I forgot to put it in. I ran out of time. And again, there's a lot that is involved here. I have a lot more I could talk about, but again, I only have a certain amount of time. But again, just kind of to go over it all, digital citizenship, it involves a lot of things, and sadly, it's in our day and age, and we have to be aware of it. We can't be ignorant to it because it's everywhere. We pay our bills. Like I said, we watch our TV, our phones. It's our communication. It's everywhere. And we have to train and teach the next generation, hey, listen, you're responsible for what you do. Because, like I said, bad things can happen, and they're responsible for it. It wasn't the parents that went to jail for the 12-year-old and the 14-year-old, it was the kid. So, again, we just have to be aware of it and continue learning about it. And I think that's all I have. I forgot to put a slide in here, and I feel silly. I don't know why I put it. Oh, that's a good point. Any questions? Any concerns? It's a lot of information, and what's